And a good Friday morning here on the Chase and Big Joe Show. Yes, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier opening up the show, waiting for Big Joe and Chase McCabe to get all settled in there at Bridgestone Arena today, alongside Nick Keyser. Good morning, Keyser. How are we doing today?
Doing good. Yeah, we're waiting for the boys to get settled over there at the new BetMGM Lounge, and I'll tell you about that for just a second, Frazier.
Please do.
So when the season was getting started, we initially, as media members, got to go around the arena. They toured us around. We got to go downstairs. We saw the new video room. We saw all kinds of stuff, right? So this lounge has been, known to me growing up as the Patron Platinum Club. So now they've completely revamped it. It looks beautiful. I have an overhead view of actually Big Joe's photo right now, and it looks to me like they're going to be up in the perch for their show this morning. So waiting for them just to get settled if you're just now joining us. But Frazier, I'm pretty happy with what the renovations have looked like here at Bridgestone Arena as they completely get things started. So the Preds are also taking on the Dallas Stars this evening. So it should be a fun Central Divisional matchup coming up. But I tell you what, so this new BetMGM Lounge, by the way, it has some crazy good hours, by the way. So fans should love this. And quite frankly, if you don't go up to the lounge at some point, you're going to be missing out. It is a really fun atmosphere to go into. And they have done this really fast. They have come in. They have really ramped up everything in the arena, and this is a new part.
They sure have, Keyser.
So,
they sure have.
Chase, glad to have you guys set up and ready to roll.
What are you doing?
Hey, Nick.
The cat's away, the mice will play. Is that what this is? No,
Yes,
thank you
exactly.
thank you for holding it down for a second. We needed a minute, but we're good now, and we are here at Bridgestone Arena at the BetMGM Lounge, the brand new BetMGM Lounge. It's very nice. Has a very nice and sophisticated lighting system, but it looks great.
Somebody figured it out, though.
The JoJo figured it out. We appreciate that. So, we're up and running.
Yeah, it's
good
nice
here.
up here. But I feel like I tweeted out, I feel like I'm important for once. I feel like I belong somewhere for once. This is really nice. The BetMGM Lounge at
You are
Bridgestone Arena.
important.
Not really.
You're important to me.
Yeah, we'll appreciate that. But overall, I'm not that important. But this is nice. All the shows here today, right?
Yes, and we'll even have Max Hers here for the pregame and postgame show as the Predators are in Dallas taking on the Stars. So you can come down. They open at 11 o'clock today. You can
Big
come
fan of
down
that.
here and say hi to us. And
A big fan of that little guy, Max Hers.
you are a big fan?
Big fan of him.
Yeah, I thought you said I'm not a big fan. I'm like,
No,
what
I
is
am
it?
a big fan of him.
He's a good kid.
He is a good kid. So, nice.
I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I don't know if you went through this, but like I'm 36, but I'll say that like he's a good kid, and I'm not that much older than him, so I don't know why I'm saying that.
But
But
kind of over the hill, though, a little bit there as well.
I thought that was 40.
Whatever. Big news this morning, Chaser.
Yep, Gerard Mayo, the new coach of the New England Patriots. He will be the guy to follow the guy in New England as he takes over. The report came out from Ian Rappaport last night that it looked like that's what it was going to be. That basically there was something in his contract that said that they didn't have to worry about in the interview process, that he was basically the heir apparent.
Yeah. So now the Vrabel watch continues, and where will he land? Will he sit out a year? What will he do? Will he go on? My money was all in the Patriots just because everything that went on, but he's not going to be the new head coach of the Patriots, and now you shift the focus back to the Titans and what are they going to do, and who knows? So this could be a fun ride for the next couple of weeks, and plus the rumor comes out of still Tuscaloosa. They want to have a coach. They want to have a coach in by this weekend. I don't see how that happens, but
I think they will.
Who are they going to be?
You know what? I'm starting to think it's going to be Tommy Reese, the OC, that they just do that.
No.
I mean, that his name has certainly been popping up.
Can't. Bama fans won't back that. No. I don't think they'll be happy with
a lot of
look,
names. It could be that, or I wouldn't be shocked if you and I end up being right. And we had it first.
We
not
did.
Jared's going to take his little victory lap, and he's going to claim that he said it first because he doesn't.
We had it back in September. I mean, we didn't have it, but that Saban would be saying goodbye, and the fact that we're both on board. Now, we're not the biggest fans of him.
No.
But
I'm not – James Franklin's who we're talking about. And let us be very clear. we're not necessarily saying it's a good hire.
No.
We're just saying that.
We just looked at it and said, what ego can take over that job and think they're better than Nick Saban, and that's James Franklin. To me, that's the one name where I think he could go in there and say, I'm going to do it my way. I don't care what you think. And then that's it. You know, they don't want Dabo. I saw the reports about the Washington coach. He's not coming out. You don't want him in Alabama. He's not coming there.
No.
They're not going to do that.
I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
So, I don't think Mike Norvell's going to go there. I just don't. They don't want Dabo. Again, we're not on board with Kiffin. The guy's never won anything at any level of being a coach. So, no. We'll see what happens and find out. But the Titans watch.
Kiffin's been amazing on Twitter, though. I don't know if you've been following his tweets, but his trolling has been next level. He tweeted a picture last night at the Oxford airport, and it's just like, well done, Lane. Just do it, man. Just be you.
Yeah, might as well. But now the switch turns back to the Titans, and who are they going to get and all the rumors. I mean, they've put out a list of like 55 names out there, so who knows, man.
Well, I do want to play a little game later,
what games?
Where we can guess what coach is going to go where in the NFL, because I think I have a good idea on some.
Okay,
but
I like
mean,
games.
I mean, could Vrabel have to take a year off?
He could. He doesn't do. I mean, he paid for another year.
Yeah,
because they fired him, so he's another year.
Yeah, so I mean, he could play golf for a year and.
Some reports of him going to, not reports, but, Atlanta. Do you think Arthur Blank's going to hire another Titans coach down there?
No, I think he's going to hire Bill Belichick.
That'd be great, yeah.
So I heard Robbie and Joe mention this, and I think this is true too. There is one wild card in all of this. If Green Bay beats Dallas this weekend, McCarthy's fired. And I think Jerry Jones will move heaven and earth to get Belichick to Dallas.
Huh, interesting.
I mean, that's just that. And Bill could do it because you're going from Kraft and a high-profile owner to an even higher-profile owner.
I dig it, yeah. I could see that'd be really kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love all this chaos, man. It's just a lot of fun.
Well, you said it best. You love drama when it doesn't involve you.
I love drama when it doesn't involve me. That should be like the Real Housewives of the NFL, but with coaches. I mean, things that go on, because this is just chaotic, and it's fun, and it's good to see what's happening because nobody's right, yet everybody's right. It's just the speculation runs rampant, and I love it.
Yeah, so we'll see because, I mean, you got to figure that there could be a job or two that ends up opening up after this weekend.
Oh, I don't know where, though. I mean, the Dallas one, sure.
I think Dallas. I don't think Green Bay, but you never know. I mean, especially the way they play down the stretch, I would think that LaFleur is good.
Gets a little pass on there.
Yeah. Tampa,
no.
Maybe?
No.
Todd Bowles?
No. I don't. It'd be if one of those coaches playoffs get fired, I'll be shocked.
There's I know that on Twitter there's been some speculation with Eagles. I'm blanking on his name.
Sirianni?
Yeah.
Sirianni, whatever his name is.
I think that would be a mistake. But
by the way, if you say Nick Sirianni, your phone Siri pops up on your phone.
Yeah.
And does that.
Thanks, Siri.
Hey, Siri, call Chase McCabe. Is doing it.
Is it doing it?
No. Something real funny off the thing. I've seen some grumblings on social media about the Dolphins-Kansas City game. People want that game moved to Miami.
That's dumb.
Because it's so bitterly cold, right?
That's
so it's dumb. Have we gotten that soft that you want to move?
Oh, yeah.
You earn that right to get the game. It's January weather. I don't understand this. People like, well, it's bitterly cold. Don't go to the game.
I mean, honestly, that is what's wrong with our society. And, I was watching Nick Saban videos last night, because everybody's posting stuff.
Yeah.
You remember the one that it's so perfect. It's so perfect where he's like, basically I'm paraphrasing where he's like, these young men think they have a choice on, how we're going to do things and how they're going to work. And that's the problem with young people today is they just expect everything to get handed to them. But, the work is what's a part of it. And I posted that video on Twitter because it's so spot on. That it's like, hey, if you want something bad enough, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
And there's just and look, I think that's a big reason. He did a sit-down interview with Reese Davis. That's a big reason why he's getting out. And I mean, he said that it's becoming harder and harder with recruiting and getting coaches, to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to be here for another 3 or 4 years.
Right.
But we live in such a now society. Now. Like, I certainly get it. So
it all ties into the fact but if they move that football game, goodness, man.
No.
Isn't the fun part about that?
They can't. Yeah, like it's the elements. That's a part of it.
Did you go to a game with your dad and it was like 5 degrees at Nissan? What game was that? Did you go? Was it the Cowboys game?
No, I didn't go. He went.
Okay.
I was mad that I didn't go, but my mom wouldn't let me because I had been sick.
Well, good mom. Yeah.
I know.
But that's the thing.
Looking back on it, it was probably the right
You go to these games for the Green Bay Dallas game in 1967, the Ice Bowl. I mean, you remember that because it's the Ice Bowl.
Right.
Had they played a regular game, no one remembers that. So I don't know. It just struck me the wrong way, and just go play the game. And by the way, they want you to take the Chiefs in that game. Don't be shocked if the Dolphins win that game. Don't be shocked because everybody's like, they're not.
I honestly, right now, am just staying away from that game because
it's too cold.
No, just because. Yes, because it's too cold. No, because I just think it's too tough to figure out. So.
A lot of question marks on players that are potentially not fully injured, but I know, what's his name? Raheem Mostert is questionable, along with Jalen Waddle. So those two guys are questionable going into Saturday's game.
Well, that's not good.
All right, we're going to tell you more about the BetMGM Sports Lounge coming up next. Chase and Big Joe live at Bridgestone Arena today. 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We're live today at the brand new BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. This beautiful space, formerly known as the Patron Platinum Club, is now, it's going to be open at 11 o'clock today, 11 to 11, every day, regardless of an event. You can get in from the street and come up and have a good time. They got tons of TVs, so you can watch all the hockey games, the playoff games in football this weekend. We're upstairs kind of overlooking everything. So it is a very, very cool place. We're joined now by Deanna Witter, who is the Chief Revenue Officer of the Nashville Predators, still relatively new to Smashville. So I think it's the first time we've had you on. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
This place is awesome.
This is incredible.
I got to do a sneak peek the other day with Sean Henry and Bill Wickett, and then the food's awesome. Definitely recommend that. But this is going to be a really cool space for everybody here at Bridgestone Arena.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a space that people can come even on non-game days. Like you said, it's open 11 to 11. And so it's a great opportunity to engage, obviously, with the Nashville community and people coming to Nashville to visit and get a space that is just modern, incredible, and really is a destination for Smashville.
And it's an addition.
Yes.
Nothing's being subtracted. I know people have wondered about Pete and Terry's. Pete and Terry's is still good.
Yes,
it's still open.
yes.
Pete Weber and Terry Crisp would not allow that to go anywhere.
Right.
That's their place.
That's one of our favorite watering holes before a game or even on non-game days as well. So, yeah, that's open, most days at 4 p.m. If we have an earlier event, that opens about 2 hours before doors. So, yeah, don't forget about Pete and Terry's. It's a phenomenal place to grab food and drinks before your favorite events.
So that's what's so cool is I've joked with Sean Henry in the past of when this place was built, there's a ton of space that just hadn't been used, and now you're finding uses for it. And so once again, another great venue within the venue here at the BetMGM Lounge.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, like there's some great spaces, and it takes great partnerships like the one we have with BetMGM to create something like this that serves, an additional audience. And to your point, Pete and Terry's has that very classic bar, and this has this sort of high-end modern vibe. And so now we're able to really have a space that attracts as well as serves multiple audiences.
Your resume is quite impressive. Do you mind going over it again? Because when I look at my resume, I'm like, how in the world did I ever get a job? Your resume, I would hire you on the spot. Give us the genesis of how this began.
Yeah. So I always tell people, like, I'm the girl living out her dream. Like, I declared when I was 14 years old that I was going to be working for a sports team. And I said that after sitting courtside at a Detroit Pistons game when I was 14. And seeing all these people walking around in suits.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, that's how they make all of this happen. It's these people that are behind the scenes that create these experiences and these amazing experiences for people. So I want to do that. So I started my career off with the Indiana Pacers in group ticket sales, in fact. And I spent 2 years with the Pacers.
What time frame is this?
This is 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to Central Michigan University. I'm from Flint, Michigan originally, so that kind of gives you a little bit of understanding where I'm from. And so I was with the Indiana Pacers for those 2 years, and I decided I wanted to grow. And to grow, you had to expand, your experiences. I was selling groups. I needed to sell seasons. I needed to sell premium. And so I left the Pacers to go sell season tickets for the Detroit Lions, and that was in 2008. So that's 0-16 season. So you really learn, you really learn how to sell something when you're in that situation.
Dan Campbell was on that team, I think.
He was. I believe he was. Yeah. It was a very trialing and interesting year, but I was there for about 6 months, and I got a call back from the Pacers to come back for a promotion to lead the group sales team in the Pacers. So went back to the Pacers. I was there for another 4 seasons, and then at the end of those 4 seasons, I was sort of ready for the next step. Next step wasn't available there, obviously, and so was called up to the NBA League office, and so worked for the NBA League office for a group called Teambo. It's Team Marketing Business Operations. And I was there for 2 years out in New York, traveling, working with teams one-to-one, which was a remarkable experience. And then from there, I went to the Cleveland Cavaliers as their VP of Ticket Sales and Service. And so the fun part there is I got there in May of 2014. And July 11th, 2014, LeBron makes his announcement. He's coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your job with the Cavaliers at the time?
Vice President of Ticket Sales.
So,
that was easy.
What was that day like?
Oh my gosh, it was so July 11th happened to be my 5th wedding anniversary too. So my husband and I had a funny day that day, as you can imagine. But he made an announcement like 12 o'clock. It was like right at lunch when he made that announcement. And I remember people like running back from lunch and jumping on the phones, and the phones were off the chains. We were in the office until about 3 in the morning when we shut down so we sold 12,000 tickets that one day. Season tickets.
Thanks,
that one
LeBron.
day. Yeah, right. It was absolutely insane. We ended up selling single game tickets on the lottery. It was so in demand. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty remarkable. So 4 years going to the finals, winning a championship in 2016. Sharing that experience to be in a championship parade with your family and your coworkers and your work family was just absolutely remarkable.
So real quick, you went to Central Michigan.
I did.
So you're a Chippewa.
I'm a Chip. Go Chips.
Yeah. Growing up in Michigan, was Monday a good day or was Monday a bad day? What side were you on?
Oh, Monday's always a good day for me.
Okay, Monday was a good day with Michigan winning the
Yes,
national championship?
Very good day. So my husband went to U of M
Okay.
and his family. So, Michigan's our team when you have to pick between Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a Sparty on Derek Mason who played at Michigan State for Nick Saban, who just retired, but so it wasn't a good day for him. He wasn't happy about that.
It's not been a good day
team
for all the
up
Alabama
north.
fans, too. Oof.
That's good. So, Chief Revenue Officer, right? I love that title. Can I get part of that title too? 'Cause I think it sounds really good. So your day-to-day job is?
So I oversee all of our strategies and execution of those strategies to generate revenue for the team in terms of all of our ticket sales, our premium sales, so that's like your suite and hospitality, all of your season tickets, group tickets, single game tickets, and then our corporate partnerships. So our relationship like the one that we have with BetMGM in this lounge. So all of our corporate partnerships as well in that execution.
And you see this, Archie, you see this new lounge here. I mean, it's really, really nice.
It's really nice, really nice. And we have a lot of wonderful partners that help, enhance the fan experience. And that's what it's about. It's about finding partnerships that hit our values as an organization, and that is to, obviously enhance and amplify the fan experience, but also how we give back to the community as well. And so a lot of our foundational efforts are also connected with those partnerships.
What's it been like to watch the, NBA and now the NHL, the landscape change? Like we've gone to, you mentioned all these corporate partnerships. The Predators have Regions on their sweater now, which is a change, to have corporate sponsors, on the jerseys themselves. The landscape has changed and continues to change.
Yeah, it has. And to your point, I mean, there's a lot of synergies between what I experienced in the NBA and what now I'm experiencing in the NHL. And you're seeing it across baseball and obviously in the NFL at the same time. And it goes back to, you try to find the right balance between, the integrity of the game and what it is, in addition to these partnerships that help drive the game forward. And so I think that it's a really, like I said, it's just a really important mix that you have in that balance.
How long have you been here?
Actually, this week was my 6-month anniversary.
Hey,
yeah, halfway through that first year.
Were you like everybody else that comes here and watches Preds games? I mean, you get taken in by the game, the experience. I mean, I don't care who you are. Everybody has the same reaction.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes. I mean, I've had the privilege to see a lot of games, especially in my time with the NBA, going to a lot of games, during that time. And you get to see some of the best and the worst, let's say, in game presentation. And here at the Nashville Predators, even when I was in the NBA, this organization has always had a reputation of having one of the best fan experiences in all of sports, and to actually be here and experience it and be a part of it now is truly remarkable. And it is amazing how every single game feels like a championship level experience, and that's not easy to do, but it's effortless in some way because the fans are so engaged. It's how our fans show up and participate and make that experience that much bigger. It seems like magic in a bottle, to be honest with you.
And this weekend is going to be more magic. Predators back home against the New York Islanders.
Yes.
It's Hockey is for Everyone weekend as well. And the United by Hockey Mobile Museum, that's going to be at Ford Ice tomorrow, 11 to 7. And then down here at Bridgestone Arena, 4 to 8 on the plaza. So looking forward to that. And also it's Teacher Appreciation Night, which my mom's a teacher, so go teachers. So a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, the Hockey for Everyone is a great initiative for us. Hopefully the weather doesn't impact too much today at the Ford Ice Center Bellevue, and the opportunity for people to engage with that awesome mobile museum. And yeah, today Teacher Appreciation Night is just a great initiative, and every single night, if you look at NashvillePredators.com, there's theme nights almost every night and ways to engage. So there might be something for truly there is something for everyone, all throughout the season. So check out the website and see what night makes sense for you.
So BetMGM Lounge, Joe, it opens at 11 today. We're off the air at 11. So at 11:01, we're going to be placing an order.
There you go.
What do you recommend?
You got to get the biscuits. Like to me, like the
Okay,
biscuits
yeah.
were.
I've heard, I've tried them. I can confirm. Yes.
I mean, last night the woman was walking around at a reception with the biscuit. I was like following her around like a puppy.
Oh, Chase, were you at the reception last night?
I was not.
Oh, dadgummit. I love receptions. That's just free food left and right, all that. Other people at 21, you don't have to be 21 to get in, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all ages.
All ages.
All ages, and Pete and Terry's is still open.
Good.
Too. So
Yep.
we got it all covered here at
Yes.
Bridgestone Arena. Deanna, it's good to have you on for the first time. Thanks so much for doing this, and we will definitely catch up soon.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
We'll
you.
have more coming here from the BetMGM Lounge, including what coach lands where. Joe and I will discuss that coming up
Right.
next. Chris Sanders going to join us at 10 here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. Chase McCabe with you. BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. It'll open up at 11. And check this out, JoJo. Every hour, starting in this hour, up until the pregame show tonight at 6, we're going to give away a $50 BetMGM gift card for the BetMGM Lounge gift card, I should say.
Okay.
For that, you can win that and come and get you some food, whatever you want. It'll be good for this venue here. So we'll be doing that in just a few minutes for the 9 o'clock hour. We'll do it again in 10, and then Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace will have 3. Jared will have 4, and then Max will have 1 on the pregame show tonight. So you'll have a lot of chances to win that here at to come here to the BetMGM Sports Lounge and get you some food and stuff like that. All right, let's play our little game. And Dr. Crane, if you can, make notes of this because I want to see if Joe and I are right.
Oh gosh,
Will do.
When it comes to when all coaching vacancies are full, I want to see if we're right. Now we'll save the Titans for last. We'll get to that in a second, but New England is now filled. Gerard Mayo is going to take over for Bill Belichick. And so let's start with the Washington Commanders.
Who's going to be the coach there?
Who do you think is going to be the coach of the Washington Commanders?
I think they want to make a splash, so I would not be surprised if Bill Belichick is the coach there. Look, I know he grew up at the Naval Academy there because his dad coached there, but if you want to get a splash, you hire Bill Belichick. And I think he ends up with the Commanders.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think the next head coach of the Washington Commanders is going to be one Mike Vrabel.
Not a chance.
I think that Vrabel ends up going to Washington, and we'll see how that turns out there. I bet he puts the band back together. Now, Arthur Smith spent some time there in Washington. He could come be his offensive coordinator. So I think that it's going to be
everybody's
Mike Vrabel.
on this. Arthur Smith wants to reunite with Mike Vrabel thing.
Well, I know.
Would you want to? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. They all hang out together. They all end up back together at some point. They got their little clique. So I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Okay. I think Belichick goes there because it's D.C., and I think they'll give him the control he wants, and he'll be happy there.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
How about that? The Las Vegas Raiders, I think Antonio Pierce. I think they may do this whole song and dance on but I think they end up keeping Pierce.
I think Jim Harbaugh goes there.
Do you really?
I think he does. I think they offer enough money, he goes there. Because they're so stupid not to keep Antonio Pierce that they'll go out and hire Harbaugh.
That's true.
I mean, those players love Pierce.
There wouldn't be shock there.
He's right in front of them, and, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. And Antonio Pierce is right there. If he doesn't get Antonio Pierce. Look, Dan Campbell has changed, and Vrabel has too for a little bit. They've changed kind of the narrative on coaches who are players who now become coaches. Those Titans players, most of them love Vrabel. That Lions team, when you read those tweets and you hear the interviews, they love Dan Campbell because he fights for them.
Yeah.
He absolutely fights for his players, and that's why they're so beloved. So, but anyway, but Pierce could land someplace else. But I think the Raiders go after Harbaugh.
Okay. Titans have asked permission to interview Antonio Pierce. So, let's go to the the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles is what I like to call them. Go ahead.
That's a great one because everybody's like Harbaugh. But if he goes to the Raiders, like I think he might, then who opens up there? Do you get the Slowick guy? I mean, do you get the OC from the Lions to go there?
Ben Johnson.
And here's the deal. I hear people talking about this all the time. You got to hire an offensive coach. No, you don't, right?
No.
You got to hire a coach who hires a good offensive coordinator, right? Matt LaFleur probably can't name his entire defense. You know why?
Yeah.
Because he's calling offensive plays, right? I don't consider Matt LaFleur a head coach per se.
No.
Let somebody coach. We had Tim Hasselbeck on one time years ago, and we asked Tim Hasselbeck, why did the Baltimore Ravens hire John Harbaugh? He was a special teams coach for the Eagles. Why? And Tim said, here's why. Because he's the one coach that touches every single player except for the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
But everybody knows the special teams coach.
Yeah.
And they love him. They go to him. They talk to him. They tell the special teams coach things he wouldn't tell a position coach. He's in tune. And he went out and he hired great assistant coaches. You could do that. So you don't have to hire an offensive-minded head coach. You got to hire a good head coach who knows both sides of the ball, and you go from there.
I think Jim Harbaugh goes to the Chargers.
Okay.
I've been saying that a while. I was making jokes on Twitter on Monday night. Oh, he looks charged up. He's going to charge into
those
victory.
jokes.
Yeah, so I think Harbaugh goes to the Chargers.
They got a hell of a bad cap. They got a lot of contracts coming. I mean, you got a quarterback there, yeah, but there's not a lot of positives beyond that. And plus, do you want to play second fiddle? They're second fiddle to the Rams in that town.
Yeah.
You play second fiddle?
But, I think Harbaugh likes those kind of challenges.
I think he likes the spotlight. I think he likes.
But I think he could take the spotlight there.
Nobody in LA cares about football. Well, but they do. They care about the Rams more than they do about the Chargers.
The Atlanta Falcons.
That's the interesting one here, right? Because that's a franchise that nobody really talks about, that nobody really it's Falcons. You need to hit it hard. If you don't get Belichick, then I think you could get a Vrabel and bring in a John Robinson down there, bring in Tannehill, bring in Derrick Henry, let them run, get the fan base.
I think Robinson goes to New England. I think Robinson's going to go be the GM for Gerard Mayo.
Okay, well,
That's
see,
what I
if not,
think.
he can go to Atlanta. But I think Derrick Henry lands in Atlanta. I think if Vrabel goes down there, I think Tannehill could, for some point, go down there. And so you'll see what happens down there. But there's so many names out there now. But I think Vrabel would enjoy going to Atlanta.
I think William Steven Belichick will be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I think Arthur Blank.
Not familiar with him?
Bill.
Okay.
I think Arthur Blank wants to make a splashy hire. I think that is a splashy hire. They do have a GM, and I want to say there's somewhere connections to the Patriots with the GM, but I think that he goes down there, and that's where he ends his coaching career.
What about – we talked about it the other day, and I'm still on board. Like, they said nobody wants that Carolina Panthers job. Garbage. I mean, it's one of 32 NFL head coaching jobs in the world. Any coach would take that job if they didn't have another job they're looking forward to. Like, Belichick's not going there because he can get a better job. But somebody's going to take that Panthers job, and there's no their roster's worse than the Titans.
Yeah, it's not very good. I think that could be like the Carolina I was saving because I don't really know. So I'm going to say that could end up being.
I like Brian Johnson from the Eagles.
Yeah.
He's a good OC, work good with quarterbacks.
Or Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator from Baltimore, if they go defense.
By the way,
try and bring in the guru to quarterback.
By the way, on our live stream, we're looking kind of handsome today.
We do look handsome.
I mean, that camera is just really, I don't know what it is about it. I think Brian Johnson's good because you got to, again, you need to hire somebody that's going to work with your quarterback and with Bryce Young. Plus the Panthers, the Bears get their draft choices. I mean, that's just going to go down as an awful trade when C.J. Stroud has now led the Texans to the playoffs in his first year.
Seattle.
It's a good one. That's a great question.
I think this is easy to me, and it might be too easy, which means I'll be wrong. Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn goes back. He was the DC there on 2 different occasions under Pete Carroll. Obviously knows the market.
But doesn't he like being just – because wasn't Aikman talking about how he just likes coaching? Just being a DC.
I think he wants one more shot at it. Like, do you really – I'm speaking for me, not for him. But, like, do you really always want to be known as the head coach of the team of 28-3? Because that's what he's known. That's what he's known for.
Well, of course not. But if you're happy in your role and you don't want the pressure
and look,
now,
if they lose this weekend, Jerry likes him. If Jerry can't get Belichick, then he probably turns to Dan Quinn and goes, "Hey, it's yours."
What have I said about coaches with 1 year left on the contract? Remember what I said?
Right.
Go. Stay one step ahead of the jailer.
Right.
So if he comes back for another year, Dan Quinn, and they're terrible, and the Cowboys are terrible in defense next year, he's gone.
Yeah.
You go to the Seahawks, get a 5-year deal. You're one step ahead of the jailer.
I think he goes to the Seahawks.
Okay, I can see that.
I think he's the head coach of the Seahawks. Okay, so you said Brian Johnson for Carolina.
I think he's a good coach, and I think he would fit in good with Carolina. I think he's a patient coach.
I'm gonna say Mike McDonald that leaves us with the Tennessee Titans.
It's Bobby Slowick. It's got to be.
You
I
think
mean,
Bobby Slowick?
That's Rand. If it's truly up to Rand, that's his guy. I mean, unless Amy steps in again and that over there. We throw the phrase dumpster fire out around too much, but that's exactly what it is over at St. Thomas Sports Park. But I think Slowick is the one to come in to get it done. I mean, they've got the history together, and
I think it's going to be Ben Johnson, the OC of Detroit.
I hear he wants the moon and then the sun. In that report, like he wants a lot of this and that, and this and that. Is there a connection between Rand and him?
I don't know.
Plus, I don't think Ben Johnson's going to acquiesce to Amy Adams and Rand. I think they're going to put somebody that they're going to use the word partnership, but no.
Bobby Slowick is a interesting dot to connect, obviously because of the connections there. And then Callahan in Cincinnati. I know a lot of people are high on him, the offensive coordinator.
But does he call the plays up there? I'm not sure how much play calling these guys do. Like the OC at Miami was getting looks at. He doesn't call the plays.
Yeah.
You know, the OC in Green
Frank
Bay,
Smith.
you don't call the plays. I mean,
Right.
you got to. That's why when you hire that offensive-minded head coach, they're calling the plays. So how many plays is he calling during the game? I don't know.
Yeah. 615-737-1025. What do you think? Got a lot of texts on our text line about this stuff, so we'll get to those coming up next here on the Chase and Big Joe Show. We're live today at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. And, Joe, during the break, we're going to come up with a question to ask to give away our first gift card.
Okay.
We're going to make people work for it. We will do that next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, guys, Big Joe here. It's my time to talk about medical house calls. You know how much I love them and the great work they're doing around our community. And I want you to also say goodbye to all those high medical bills. When you use medical house calls, you don't have to worry about hidden fees or surprise charges. Medical house calls is revolutionizing how patient care is getting done. Patients pay one flat fee, no matter the treatment, making medical house calls more affordable than the average urgent care and emergency room. And also, right, we're in the middle of the cold and flu season. You can get tested and treated without leaving your home. Their mobile medical services are here to make your health a top priority. Visit medicalhousecalls.com and see what everybody is talking about. In fact, Chuck McDowell loved the treatment he received so much, he bought the company. Just visit medicalhousecalls.com, where the nearest clinic is your home.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe at the BetMGM Sports Lounge here at Bridgestone Arena. We're going to give away our first $50 gift card to the new BetMGM Sports Lounge restaurant and bar inside Bridgestone Arena. 11 to 11 is when it is open, so it'll open as our show ends.
It'll be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. All right, you have a question?
I do. All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, so we're Bridgestone Arena.
So you got to call, not text, call Nick Frazier and answer this question, 615-737-1025.
Who set the all-time attendance record at Bridgestone Arena with fans in attendance? Who set the all-time Bridgestone Arena attendance record with fans in attendance? That is the question, and do you know?
Yeah.
Don't say it, Chaser.
Because I was at it.
All right. So that's the question for today.
Okay. All right.
I'll text Dr.
615-737-1025. And the first one to get that right will win the gift card.
And according to him, it'll never be broken because –
Oh, yeah. Okay. I wasn't at that one. I was at the one before it.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to him, the record will never be broken because he stole the chair from here, and so that was going to happen, though.
All right.
As well. We need the Chaser is gonna. You're going on a trip.
I am going on a trip. Okay, yeah. So people have been texting about this and asking because the commercial changed. We've been running these commercials for Colette.
Yeah.
About a trip to Ireland
yeah.
that you had voiced.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you looked at a football schedule.
I probably didn't.
When you were going to go do this. And so because of your MTSU commitments,
yep,
you're not going to be able to go.
I cannot make it, yes.
So I have stepped in and volunteered and basically kicked the door in and demanded that I go on the trip.
Well, McCabe is Irish.
That was the best part about this. When we started discussing this behind the scenes, and everybody like, why would you want to go to Ireland? And I just look at everybody like they have five heads, and I go, do you know my last name? And they're like, McCabe. And I go, think about it. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Nice. So good over there.
So my family, originally from Ireland, not obviously I'm a descendant, but. So I've always wanted to go to Ireland, so this works out perfectly.
What about, you going to look for leprechauns?
Some Lucky Charms.
Whatever they are. What was the great Saturday Night Live skit with All Things Scottish with Mike Myers? You remember that skit? Yeah. People would come in and look for things Irish, and he would lose his mind on them. Well, congratulations. I just couldn't navigate with, I don't know, in the bye week for MTSU football. It wasn't fair. I'm like, you know what, Chase, you go do this and go on your worldly adventure.
So, so go to thegamenashville.com/Ireland and check it out, and you can go on a trip with me to Ireland.
Will you be looking for Bono?
No.
Okay.
I will. Is Loch Ness? That's Scotland, right? The Loch Ness.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm glad we pay attention in history class in high school. What was your worst class in high school?
Math.
Math. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
I failed one class in high school. It was Latin, and I don't know why I took Latin. It was the dumbest decision that I ever made.
Oh, did you go home and tell your mom you failed? I wanted to see that reaction.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
I bet.
It was not good.
Oh, man.
That was one of the classic times that I got the just straight face, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Which is like
worse.
Has anybody everybody's gone through that, right? Like where a parent has said like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, and it's like you feel like you're 2 inches tall and are just the worst person on the face of the earth because like that look on your mother's face of true disappointment, you're just like
What grade were you in when you failed this?
Freshman.
Did you know you were failing like halfway through?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like, we knew it was ball game.
That's great,
man. Like we're start of the fourth quarter. Like this game's over. Like we knew it. Like, and it was one of those things that I was trying. I just didn't get it, and I'm like I realized pretty quick like why the hell did I take this class? And here's another funny thing. So this was at FRA.
All right.
And the Latin teacher had been there for like 20 years or something like that. And so to try and help me, she had like this special exam that she had made for a student that was struggling like I was like years before. The name of the exam, the Jeff Jarrett exam.
No.
It was Jeff Jarrett. And so one time, like, I had him on, and we were here, actually, and I said, do you remember FRA and you like Latin? And he goes, oh, bleep, yeah. And we started talking about, he's like, Miss Howell, the teacher, and everything. So but I couldn't do it. And I think I remember him saying he didn't make it through too. But
So you failed. Well, I mean, I failed one class in college. I failed general elementary college math, which I thought would be pretty simple, like 4 + 4 is 8, divided by 4 is 4, whatever. And I failed it, but I was up to a last minute, like I had the 2-minute drill going down the field, and I failed it. My sophomore year in high school, though, Metro switched the scoring grades. Used to be 60 was failing to a 70 was failing during my sophomore year. So I almost failed trigonometry. We had a great teacher at McGavick. If you all remember Mr. Francis, during the exam, I had no idea what to do, but he'd love to help you out. I'm like, hey, Mr. Francis, I don't know number 2. He's like, oh, here's what you do. And he'd work the problem for me. I'm like, Mr. Francis, number 4. So he did like half the exam, and I got a 72, and I passed.
Yeah.
So yay
so
for
like
me.
math and science was my struggle.
Yeah.
And then Latin was just
It's like when
that was dumb.
if you play Trivial Pursuit and you get the final one and it's like science,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm not going to win this game at all.
Yeah. Right.
There's no way because it's a science.
Right.
I love those teachers though, Joe. They just help you out. I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Just
Those
keep
are
going
good.
on, and you're so nice. Like, I'm so sorry I didn't understand it. Like, oh, that's no problem. And they just do your entire exam for you.
I had a teacher in college that we were getting ready for this big test, and he was like, I'm just going to give you all the test before you take the test. He handed us the test. So it's like, if you fail.
like the day before? Or
No, like a week before. Like we had the actual test that we could like take and get the answers and everything.
Right.
And so it's like everybody got like 90s. Like
Oh, I'd love that.
I think one person failed, and we just looked at him like, I don't know what to tell you there, man.
Did you drop classes in college? Add and drop. I dropped one. I told you this story. I was at Samford. I signed up for a statistics class. I'm thinking, this is easy. Dale Murphy went 3 for 5 last night. He's now batting 600. And you go in there and realize that it's not stats, athletic sports stats. And I walked in. Teacher like, oh, you're so quick getting out of here. And I said, look, lady, you don't want me in this class, and I don't need to be here. And I just walked out.
So my mom's teaching right now, so she won't hear this story.
Good.
So I walk in. I think I was a sophomore probably at college. And I had to have, with the gen ed stuff, I had to have a science. And so I was taking, it was like a earth science kind of like geology type thing.
Right.
I walked in on the first day, and the professor's going through it in like the first 10 minutes. and there was like 15 people in the class. And I just like raised my hand and was like, yeah, and I go, hey, I'm just not going to waste your time or my time. I appreciate it. I'm going to go and drop this. Have a nice day. I stood up and walked out. Like, I had no chance.
Good for you.
I knew I was going to have
Don't
no chance.
waste the
He
time,
laughed.
man.
That was the best part. He laughed. Everybody laughed, and I walked out.
I am, though, disappointed you failed Latin, though. I thought you
Well,
But as a freshman, I would have failed Latin, too.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I'd fail Latin now.
I went back to Spanish, and
How much Spanish do you know?
hola.
I took 7 years of it. I can read it. I can't say a word. 7
You
years.
can read it. That's
Yep,
true.
I can.
That's
Thank you,
true.
buddy.
We'll talk to Chris Sanders. Mike, let's get to Mike's call real quick on Brian Callahan. Mike, what's up?
Good morning, guys. Hey, do you guys think this plays into it at all? Let's just say, like, Rand Carthon, he circled T. Higgins as his number one priority. Do you think that would influence wanting, for, say, Callahan to come in, maybe with the relationship that he could get Higgins to come in, and, obviously Higgins would know the offense and could help smooth it over to Will Levis, et cetera.
That's a good
as far
one.
as learning it. Do you think that plays any type of role in his decision or what they want?
I think
That's good.
it probably should.
Yeah, right?
Whether it does or it doesn't, I don't know.
Good point, Mike.
But I think you got to consider all those things.
Right.
For sure. We'll get to Chris Sanders. We'll get his thoughts on Mike Vrabel being out. What's next for the Titans? We'll do that next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin, Chase McCabe with you live today at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. As it will be open in about an hour. You can come by and see us. Caroline will be here. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace.
Nice here.
Jared will be here. Max will be here. It's a good time.
Tell you something before our next guest comes on? I got a problem with somebody who grows up in Denver and spent their college years up north, and they're afraid to drive in the snow like our next guest.
Wait, is that right? Is that true? Chris Sanders? Are you afraid to drive in the snow?
Man, heck no. Yeah, I'm from Denver, Colorado. I grew up there. And I remember, I think it was blizzard. I think it was 1982. We had a big-time blizzard. But I ain't scared of no snow. I drive it in any day. I ride bicycles, tricycles in the snow. Let's go get it.
I've heard you've already gone to the major run to the grocery store because you're scared of the winter weather.
Actually, I did. True story. And it was a funny thing because, I just got married on the 29th, and this is the first time me and my wife went grocery shopping. You should have saw what was in our cart. It was awful. We're looking at each other like, what you want? What you want? I got honey buns. I got crabgrass. I'm like, what am I buying?
Honey buns, is that what you call your wife, or is that what you?
Oh, yeah, she's got. You trying to get me in trouble with PG now, mister?
I have to. So, Chris, we haven't had a chance to talk to you. Your thoughts? Mike Vrabel out as the Titans head coach, and now the search is underway.
It's funny because Jared Stillman asked me last week. He said, Chris, by this time next week, do you think Mike Vrabel will be the head coach? And I said, absolutely not. And the reason why I said absolutely not is because just watching his body language, running off the field, when you look at him, when you look at a person that wants to be here, his body language is going to tell you everything. So when he walked out the field, it was kind of like, I'm ready to get out of here. And then another thing is if you really wanted to stay here, after the season, you always address the team on where you're going forward and what you want to do. He never addressed the team. That was a indication that he was gone.
Yeah, and look, the thing that I have said all week is I can make a case for him to be gone. I can make a case for him to get another year and still be here. My problem is how the organization has gone through the process and gone about it. That Amy Adams-Strunk did not hold a press conference. She did a sit-down, taped, very scripted and calculated interview on what I like to call two-tone television with Mike Keith, state-run TV. She did that and then puts Ran Carthon out there, who every time I keep bringing this up, the more I feel bad for is Ran Carthon. That he was put in that position because he's basically put up there to answer questions about something that he didn't have anything to do with.
Yeah.
And then now, he's got to go be the GM and, lead the coaching search and all that stuff. So that's been my frustration, Chris, is that the organization just hasn't looked very strong through this process.
I agree 100% because, you look at Ran Carthon. He looks very uncomfortable, answering questions. He's trying to answer questions that he can't answer. So you put him in a bind and you put him in a situation to where it makes him look like he doesn't know what he's doing. But at the end of the day, I think that the reason why everything was kind of going in disarray is because I think, and this is I'm never going to disrespect the coach because I'm a coach. I just think that Mike Vrabel wanted to run it his way as opposed to run it the Tennessee Titans way, and that just doesn't work. I respect him as a coach and I respect him as a man, but at the end of the day, when it's so much uncertainty of who's making the decision, the uncertainty of who's making the right decision in the organization, it just got to a point to where, he had to get out of here. And then another situation to where, kind of has me scratching my head to where if you're the offensive coordinator and you are the head coach and you're making personnel decisions, why would you go to the owner and ask him to hire somebody to make those decisions for you? Basically, that was a lob to say, I'm going to lob it up so you can dunk it and fire me. And that's exactly what we saw, these last couple of days.
We're talking to Chris Sanders, who's one of the few players in NFL history to catch a touchdown and avoid hitting a Buick Electra in the end zone at Riverfront Stadium.
Hey, let me ask you a question before you ask me a question. I'll give you $5. Who has he has a record in the NFL? Who has the least amount of yards in the NFL? And he has a record in the NFL.
I don't know.
Least amount of yards?
Minus 36.
Oh, rushing yards. Yes, you. Yeah.
So I got a record. I just wanted to put that out there.
You got a couple of records. You almost got a record by getting hit by a car in the end zone at Three Rivers Stadium and Riverfront Stadium. All right, so let me ask you this.
Sure.
If you're a head coach looking at the Titans and you've got a quarterback in place, what kind of coach do you need? Because people are like, well, you got to get an offensive-minded coach. Well, can't you just hire a good head coach? You can hire a coordinator.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that go on here with this.
it's funny because when people say a defensive-minded coach, you got to remember he's not going to be calling the plays. Even if it's a defensive coach or offensive coach, the only person that kind of does that is the coach from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the head coach, but also he calls the plays. If I'm a head coach and I'm a defensive-minded coach, I'm going to go get the best offensive coordinator. Yes. The best offensive coordinator out there right now is the guy from the Texas, Bobby Slowick, if I pronounce his name right. The reason why I would want them to go get him is look at what he did with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is the 5th all-time rookie of all times to throw for 4,000 yards. So if he can develop him into, C.J. Stroud into a great quarterback at a young age, now you got a situation to where you go get Bobby and say, you know what, I need you to develop Will Levis. Because if Will Levis plays well and you get a great offensive line, you get some wide receivers in here, you got a solid defense, now you're building something that's so great.
What happens, though, Chris, if you go after this Bobby Slowick and he's like, nah, I'm good, and then, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, it would. I think it kind of, if you're Amy Adams, it would hurt a little bit.
It would, but just throw a couple of more dollars out there. You know what I'm saying? If you say I give you $10 million, I give you $12 million, money talks. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's not always about the money, but I think with Bobby being in so high demand and using a rookie C.J. Stroud to play at the level he's playing in so early, he's a hot commodity. So if I'm Amy Adams Strunk, I will go to him and say, listen, we need you here. I want you here. I want you to create the identity of this office. I want somebody that I know that I can trust to come in here and make this offense so special. I know, Tim Kelly has done a great job, but you get somebody here to develop a quarterback, because at the end of the day, you may have a great quarterback, but if you don't develop him, he's going to stay stagnant.
What I think is going to happen is Titans legend Chris Sanders named the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans. We'll come work with you. Joe can work with the offensive line. I'll be the get-back coach.
No, I want you the linebackers coach with the one-bar face mask. I got to have you out there.
But I tell you what, though, Chris, if you hire me, we're going to hit in practice. I don't care what this. See,
no, we're going to call Dave Craig to be the backup quarterback because he's going to have his uniform.
Well, Chris, when you told me we did the Music City Bowl together, you told me when we found out that Hugh Freeze at Auburn, once the season started, they didn't tackle and they don't practice tackling. That blew our mind. We're like, what in the world's going on? I'd have guys tackling every day. I'd get fired in a week, but I don't care.
I don't say bad words, but when you told me that, I was like, what in the Sam E. Garfunkel is going on? Because the thing about it, if you're gonna tackle, if you're gonna be a winning team, you got to do fundamentals. What's some of the fundamentals? The fundamentals are tackling, blocking, running routes, catching the football. Those are fundamentals. And if you're not doing the essence of fundamentals, you're gonna get in the game and you're gonna get exploited. Big Joe, that's what we saw in the game. When they got in the game, Auburn couldn't tackle Gerbil out there. They couldn't. It was awful. Anybody that was out there, they couldn't tackle. They were missing tackles. They were out of position. The angle was bad. And me and you are looking like, what are we doing here?
Right. You're right. You know what I would do? I'd make one phone call.
What was that?
Everybody's like, oh, Mike Munchak, get him to come fix the offensive line. Nope. I'd call Coach Jim Washburn and say, come make this D-line mean like you had back in the day. Come make somebody cry.
But you know what's so – I'm sorry about that.
No, I was just going to say, because that's what they need. Like when Wash was running the D-line,
yes,
those were some dudes.
But you know what made them dudes, Chase, is each coach had a relationship with the players.
Yeah.
That makes a difference. Listen, if I'm a great coach but I don't have a relationship with you, I lose. If I wear the badge, if I'm the receiver coach, you do what I say. That doesn't work. That's why Washburn and Munchak was so good, is because he loved the players. He cared about the players. He said, you know what, even though I'm coaching you, I want to bring the best out of you, not just on the field but off the field, and that's why those guys played for him. Those are one of the best coaches I've ever been around.
You were very lucky in your career. You got to play for one head coach, but at some point you had to switch offensive coordinators. And I know it's not the same as a head coach coming in, but how different was it when Steckel left and Heimerdinger came in?
I got cussed out every day. That's the only difference. Heimerdinger talked about my cousin that I didn't know about. He cussed me out. He did. I was like, dang, I got a cousin? I'm like, okay, so he cussed me out. But here's what I love about Heimerdinger. He said this after, I retired and, he was in the office. I came and met with him. He said, Chris, I asked him, I said, Heimerdinger, why would you cuss at me and yell at me all the time? He said, because I saw something in you. And I sat there with a tear because I didn't think he liked me, but a tear ran down my eye because in my mind I thought he was being mean. And in my mind I thought that he didn't like me, but he was pulling greatness out of me. But when I had, Les Steckel, let me tell you about Les Steckel. when I first got in the league, I was a messed up kid. You know, I was prideful. I was made it about myself and just on the road to destruction. And he sat me down, and the first day I came to practice, I was the only one in the parking lot. And he said, "This, Chris," he said, "I've been praying for you." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I prayed for you to get here." And he sat me down because he can tell that my life wasn't right. He said, "Man, I'm not just going to coach you as a player. I'm going to help you be the man that you've called to be." And that's why I love Les Steckel, and that's why I love Heimerdinger.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are great stories that you have told for sure. Chris, appreciate it as always, my
appreciate
friend.
you guys too.
Have a great weekend.
I love you guys.
You too. Chris
Okay,
Sanders,
bye-bye.
Forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the program. Yeah, I mean, you look at those Heimerdinger-led offenses. I mean, even when he came back in 2008, you know, and after the Norm Chow experience.
Yeah, right.
It just Dinger and Les Steckel just did a lot for this offense, and we'll see if the Titans can find, you know, something like that again. I mean, look, the more I read about and hear about Bobby Slowick, we've talked to John McClain about him. I like a lot of it, but it's just, is he ready?
He's got what working with Rand Carthon for so long in the 49ers, and again, I mean, I think that's their guy, and for what he's done for, like Chris said, with C.J. Stroud. But back to Washburn for a second. I know we got the break, but I told you he's the one. I've never seen a pro athlete cry on the football field, and Jim Washburn made Jesse Mahalona, rest in peace, cry on the practice field, and it's still one of the bewildering, craziest moments covering the Titans I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's talked about that.
Because Washburn was unabashed. He was like, I'm not going to apologize.
Nope.
He goes, like Heimerdinger saw in Chris Sanders, he's like, there is something inside him that he's got to come out.
Yep.
And I'm going to pull it out.
I have something I want to bring up about Rand Carthon in this whole process coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. Opens up at 11 today. You can get in from the street right here on, let's see, what is this? This 5th?
Fifth
Avenue. So you can come in and say hi to us and get some food. The food is very good.
It is. Can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Thank you. Would you buy a house across from a cemetery?
That's a very random question that I wasn't ready for. Probably.
Okay.
Why?
Just looking at this great house in Key West that's right across from a cemetery. So
you moving to Key West?
If I win Mega Millions tonight, you'll get a check from me for your great friendship to me over the years, and you'll never see me again. Just curious. All right, what's your thought?
No, it'll be like this. Like 20 years from now, it'll be like the end of Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, right. There you
walking
go.
on the beach. Which yesterday after Belichick, the announcement, I think it was the Barstool guys that tweeted that out. And just said Belichick walking up to Saban's lake house, and they did that last scene.
It won the internet yesterday.
It was so perfect.
It won the internet yesterday. So well done.
So perfect. Here's my thought on Ran Carthon. I know, like, on Tuesday or whenever, all the days are running together. I guess it was Tuesday. When all this came down, I was rough on him. I was rough on Amy. I'm not backing off on the organization or Amy Adams Strunk, but – I do feel like Ran Carthon has been put in just a terrible position.
Exactly, right?
Like that is not his fault. And so, in talking to people and thinking about it of like, okay, well, give him a chance. I've heard Willie saying that and give him an opportunity. I'm willing to give him an opportunity. The problem is I think the people that hired him won't stay out of his way.
I can see that.
And it's like I want to give him a chance. To do, to get the right hire and to do this and get the right players and get his people in there. I mean, I have a feeling there's going to be more names that are let go. Like, get all the Vrabel Robinson people out and get your people in. I mean, just give yourself as much of an opportunity to succeed. But I just feel like there's going to be too much interference, that she's impatient. She doesn't stay out of the way, just like her father.
Okay.
And ultimately whenever you get the meddling owner that won't stay out of the way, you don't have success.
So I think it would have been different had Rand come in and been called advisor to the owner, right? The problem is he came in with the GM title, right? And you and Jared knew Floyd far better than I did.
Sure.
So you knew you got inside the mind of what a GM does. When you realized it all came out that Ran Carthon truly wasn't a GM, you're like, they really set this guy up for some sort of failure.
Well, and these are the times where, and I know Jared feels this way too, but I go, man, this is when I'd love to just sit in a room, off the radio, just sit in a room with Floyd and just ask questions. Because I used to do that.
Right.
We went on road trips and we would just sit and and he was always great about, I could ask questions and everything. We were on the plane to to Atlanta, one time to go to Kansas City, and I sat next to Floyd, and it was awesome because we just talked. He told me about why he hired Jeff Fisher and all the everything that went through the process.
What a GM does.
What a GM does. He would be fascinating right now.
Well, I'm sure
in watching this, and the other thing too is people like Floyd still had influence, on things. I mean, I think he had a big part in John Robinson getting hired, and you gave him a good recommendation.
Yeah, it helps out.
So,
but again, go back to the fact that, but if Rand's not, because we know what we think a GM does, we found out that Rand did none of those GM duties.
Yeah.
Yet thinking he's a GM, it was really unfair to him.
Right.
So it goes on.
But
look, I hope now. This is weird, right? So I hope now he goes out, hires a perfect coach, and they go to the playoffs next year.
Yeah,
I'm all in this camp for him because he's sitting there like, hey, man, and to parade him out on Tuesday and not –
I know.
Was
you put
really,
him in such a bad
yes.
spot. And I hope –
Team Rand now.
I hope and I wonder if there's one person in particular that I'm wondering if they've done this. But I hope that somebody – that can get to Amy and to get in her ear has done so and said, look, you're not putting him in a position to succeed. Put him in a position to succeed. Let him do his job. You hired him to do a job. Let him do it. Now, if he doesn't do it right, then okay.
Yeah.
You have every right to make a change. But you have to understand when you keep making changes, you're just hitting the reset button.
That's right.
You're not like you can be impatient all you want and want a Super Bowl and like all these things, but if you don't give it time to bake, we'll use the Nick Saban analogy. If you don't give the cake time to bake and you keep pulling it out and it's doughy and everything, it's not going to be any good. So you have to give it time, and I think that's her biggest problem is she's impatient, and now you gotta let him cook. Let him do his thing. And if it works, then you got the right guy. If it doesn't, then you're going to be back in the same position. But I just, the more I've thought about it, it's just like it's been so unfair to him that, and like we got a promo running now. I was pulling clips yesterday of Willie saying like, there's nobody that's speaking Rand's narrative. Vrabel's got everybody's speaking Vrabel's narrative. Well, it's time for Rand to write his narrative of what he wants the Tennessee Titans to be.
Yep, and we'll see what happens. The only thing that plays this out is time.
Yeah.
So hire a good head coach, do good in the draft, do good in free agency, and build and go. Because the only way we're going to figure this out, they're going to figure this out is how you perform on the field. Nobody else cares, right? It's what you do winning football games going forward. And you're behind the 8 ball, but so was Houston last year. And they was able to turn it around and make the playoffs and hosting a playoff game and win the division. So hope is eternal, Chase McCabe.
Yes, it is. We'll give you another chance to win another gift card to the BetMGM Lounge here at Bridgestone Arena. We'll do that here in just a little bit. But, Joe, what do we got coming up next?
Big event happening next. We are hyper-local on the Chase and Big Joe Show. A big event happening next week for a Metro High School that want to kind of get the word out about it and why it is important to support our high schools, and that's coming up next.
Yep, we will do that next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, tune in to 102.5 The Game tomorrow for Vanderbilt men's basketball. The Commodores take on Mississippi on the road. Pregame begins at 11:30 and tip-off is at noon. Coverage also available on the 102.5 The Game app. I don't think I've never heard anyone refer to them as Mississippi. I thought it was just Ole Miss.
Right, the Rebels.
We'll go with that.
We've part of the show that Chase and I do, we're really hyper local about things that go on in our community beyond sports, but involving sports. One of those is a big event happening next Saturday, January 20th at James Lawson High School. It's a first pitch dinner and silent auction. Kyle Wright will be the guest speaker. We had him on a few weeks ago talking about this event, and now we'll bring on the head coach at Lawson High School baseball, Kobe Ginsberg. Kobe, thanks for doing this morning.
Chase, Joe, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Tell us about the event and Kobe and why this event is so important to your high school next Saturday.
So it's the first pitch dinner. You see a lot of baseball programs around that use this as a chance to kind of kick off the season, have a guest speaker, have dinner, some fellowship, and just kind of get excited for the high school season. For us, it's a fundraiser because we are a metro school, and this is by no means trashing the school district at all, but it's the biggest school district in the state. There's 90,000 students. There's 15 high schools, all have sports teams, and so they don't provide any kind of funding to make it to allow us to operate. And so we're required to fundraise to be able to do the things that we want to do for the kids.
So beyond that, who pays the umpires? You?
Yes. We have to pay the umpires. We have to buy baseballs, bats, anything that we want to do for the kids to be able to run a baseball game and a program is on us to be self-sufficient.
So if somebody wants to help out, we're talking to Kobe Ginsberg, the baseball coach at the brand new James Lawson High School. If somebody wants to help out, and we've talked about this before, Kobe, and they can't get to the auction or to the silent dinner, to the dinner and the auction next Saturday, how can they help out? How can they help out any schools in Metro?
All of the schools have annual funds set up. And so for ours, for instance, if you go to give2Lawson.com, you can scroll down to the baseball annual fund and you can donate that way. You can send checks to the schools made out to the school name. Anything is appreciated.
Oh, I bet with that. And this event, and again, beyond, I know you're raising money, but it's a time to come together. Why is this event so important beyond what you just talked about here a moment ago?
It just kind of showcases our school. We have a brand new school, as you mentioned, opened in August. I would argue that it is the nicest public school in Tennessee. Looks like a small college campus. If you haven't been out there, come out to a game and check it out. But it's state of the art. It's beautiful. And so it kind of showcases the school. It kind of talk about our program. Bob Mueller turned us down, said he had to play golf that day, so we went with our third option U to host it. And then Kyle's a good friend of mine. He's fifth round, number 5 overall draft pick in the 2017 draft. Played at Vandy. A lot of Braves fans in Middle Tennessee that know who he is because he was instrumental in helping them win their World Series a couple of years ago. I know Chase loved that, and so he'd be a good draw, and he's just great to give back to the kids.
I love it. Yeah, I am hosting that next week, so thanks for asking me, with Kyle Wright next Saturday at James Lawson High School. Let me ask you this, Coach. Look, I know you've got to deal with getting the baseballs, paying the umpires, but the kids just need to be able to play baseball, right? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about them. It's not about me. It's not about the school. It's about them being able to put a uniform on and represent the school and, have a great, as you played sports in Metro, and you're probably some of your fondest memories are, putting the pads on Friday night at McGavick, and you probably look back at that 50 years later and see that, that was the time they had on the field together.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and and there's people like Mookie Betts has stepped up to help, and other athletes have stepped up to help. So there's a lot of good that's happening, correct?
Yeah, for sure. We do a Metro. I started a Mookie Betts Metro Classic about 3 years ago, and Mookie, writes a check to fund the umpires so that none of the Metro schools that are playing in it, all but 2 of the Metro schools are playing in it, don't have to pay anything to play for the first week of the season. And so guys like that who, came through Metro schools and now have made it big don't forget where they came from and are giving back.
Love it. Next Saturday, James Lawson High School, 6 o'clock, Cal Wright. It's the first pitch dinner and silent auction benefiting Lawson High School. Kobe, we'll keep getting the word out about that, and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money so these kids do not have to worry about anything. They can just go out and play baseball. Coach, thank you for your time, buddy.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Kobe Ginsberg. And, Chase, we're big Metro guys, and to hear things like that, it drives me a little crazy that – some things aren't taken care of for these kids in high school. I mean, they shouldn't have to worry about the umpire being paid or everything. And when a storm came through last year, ripped down half the fence at Old Hillwood High School, Kobe was out there first thing in the morning fixing the fence. I mean, so these guys go above, and these are all Metro coaches. They go above and beyond what they're required to do to make sure these kids can get on the field and play.
Yes, indeed. So happy to help and do hyper-local things here on the Chase and Big Joe show. And a cool place out there in Bellevue, new high school.
It's out in your neck of the woods.
It is. I mean, I know the site that it is on, the old church that was there. So it's where I went. So it's a very, very cool spot. So I'm glad that you're able to be involved in that and do those things. Couple of notes coming out from Ian Rappaport. Mike Garofolo put out there, the Titans will interview Antonio Pierce for their vacant head coaching job this weekend, sources say. While he remains firmly in the mix for the Raiders job, Pierce is exploring all options. As the Patriots plot out a new direction and set out to hire a new GM, a few names to consider with ties to New England. Former Raiders GM Dave Ziegler, former Titans GM John Robinson. And he has a few others on there, too.
Oh, the old Zeke getting a look, huh?
Yeah.
Listen, Antonio Pierce, if he's coming to town, why not bring him to BetMGM?
Yeah,
here
I think that would be great. Also, it looks like the Commanders are about to hire Adam Peters as their new general manager.
Adam's getting a look again? Oh, Adam Peters.
Yeah.
Man, what a good day. Ziegs, and then we call him AP. Okay, so if we just act like you know these guys.
You even got me there for a second. I knew you were full of it. I was like, wait, what? How do you
AP and Ziegs, man, getting it done. Well, so with Washington hiring that guy, your little Belichick theory. No, you got Belichick going to Atlanta, though, right?
No, actually what this my Vrabel theory could be off, because if Peters is going there, I mean, Bobby Slowick, that's another 49ers connection that maybe he targets Bobby Slowick to go to Washington.
They got no quarterback. Would you not go where a quarterback is, at least? I'd come here for Levis, just the fact I got a quarterback who's going to run through a wall for me.
I mean, I would look at, Slowick took the job. Here's the name that we haven't brought up during all of this that
can I guess?
I think should be a name that should be brought up, but for whatever reason he's not.
Pat Sperduto.
Come on, Joe.
Art Paducah. No, Pete Carroll. Why isn't Pete Carroll's name coming up? I think he's in, if we're going to talk about age and everything, he and Belichick are around the same age. Pete looks 55. Belichick
because he
looks
walks
70.
nonstop on that sideline, chomping on that gum.
I know, but I mean, my point
coaches,
is,
they're going to go young. I mean, they won't admit it. The GMs and owners won't.
Somebody's going to hire Belichick.
Yeah, but not Pete Carroll.
You're right, and I think that's wrong. I think Pete Carroll would be a home run. Bring Pete Carroll in here, got a good culture, he's a good dude, and then he would hire the right people, or he could go get
to the Titans?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean, there's crazier things
that are out
Pete.
There. I would totally call Pete
and
bring him in here.
What if Pete, because I'm going to come here and I want total control.
Then you give it to him.
Amy would never give total control.
You give it to him.
Never.
Nope. She won't, but I would.
No.
If I own the team, that's what Jared likes to say. If I own the team.
You'd hire Pete Carroll.
I would hire Pete Carroll.
All right, I wouldn't. But that's all right. It's your team.
Sure.
And I can boo you and call on radio shows and boo you.
That's fine.
And then as an owner, you could call me and say, hey, stop it.
Yeah, I could ban you from my brand new stadium. I could do that. We're going to give away another gift card to the BetMGM Lounge coming up next. Plus, it's time for celebrity birthdays. Chase and Big Joe, presented by Regal Realty Group, 102.5, 106.3. The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, The Game, live today, Bridgestone Arena, the BetMGM Sports Lounge, the brand new BetMGM Sports Lounge. You can get in on 5th Avenue by the team store, come up the elevator, and boom, you're here. They open at 11 o'clock, so in just a few minutes, they're getting everything set. We're going to definitely have some food. So I hope the kitchen staff is ready for that.
Be ready down there.
We're hungry. That is for sure. But we have another $50 gift card to the BetMGM Sports Lounge to give away. You must call and answer this trivia question, and Dr. Crane will make you a winner. Who scored the first playoff goal in Nashville Predators history?
Oh, I think I know this.
The first playoff goal in Nashville Predators history. 615-737-1025. First person to get that right will win that $50 gift card to the new BetMGM Lounge.
Is Pete Weber eligible for this? Because he would know it.
No. Pete knows everything. No, Pete is not eligible, and he's in Dallas getting ready for the game tonight.
Still listen on the app.
That's true. That's true. He probably is listening. So we'll continue Coach Watch. I got to tell you.
Yeah, buddy.
Like, physically I've done nothing the last few days,
right.
But I am exhausted.
We got to change that.
I know. We're going to work on that. But I'm exhausted because of everything just that has happened this week.
It's a lot that's going on.
I am ready for the weekend.
Think about Tuesday. We were down here for the Barrel House and like, hey, when things going to happen?
Yeah.
Of course, it happens 30 minutes when we get off the show.
Sure.
And then Vrabel's gone. Then from then on, it's just been like you're riding this tidal wave forever. And then, like, when's it going to stop? It's not going to stop. But you know what? I was at the gym this morning, and people talk to me like, this must be a crazy time. I'm like, it's crazy because when the Titans won, like, the AFC Championship game in 20, there was not this much chatter. People are like, okay, we're good. And now people are just losing their mind. Rightfully so. Yeah. You're invested in a football team, and it happens. And so I don't think this ride's going to slow down for quite a while.
No.
Not at all, pal.
I don't think it is. The first coach has been hired. Gerard Mayo will take over for Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. The first general manager has been hired. Adam Peters
AP
is the new general manager of the Washington Commanders. He was the number 2 with the 49ers behind John Lynch. So technically the number 3 because Shanahan's number 1.
Okay.
But, so now 2 years in a row, top lieutenants to John Lynch, Adam Peters and Rand Carthon, now GMs in the National Football League.
Well, I mean, that's right now the model franchise. Would you not go after people
100%.
there? Yeah. So, and then you'll go and now, Rand was part of that lieutenant too as well with the 49ers. And again, I think every day that goes by, I'm rooting more and more for Rand Carthon just because of the situation that they put him in. It was a non-winnable situation that they put him in, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Amy Adams should be ashamed of herself for that.
Yep, I 100% agree. All right, with that, let's get to celebrity birthdays.
All right, celebrity birthdays brought to you by possibly you. All right, first birthday.
Together at CromwellMedia.com.
Our first birthday today, speaking of the radio, Howard Stern.
Ooh.
How old is Howard at WNBC?
Yep, and if you want to go into this business, required viewing is the movie Private Parts. Fantastic film. Howard Stern, 73.
83.
70.
I just missed it.
You did. Actor Oliver Platt, who was great in the movie Flatliners, by the way.
Yeah. He was in the movie Ready to Rumble, which is a terrible movie, but also great at the same time. Oliver Platt, I'm going to say 61.
67.
63.
Boom.
Chasers up 1-0. All right, Dr. Crane, here we go. Rocker Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie, 57.
61.
59.
Boom.
Oh, that's a
That's a push.
That's a little, in the middle there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well done. Oh, country singer William Lee Golden of the Oak Ridge Boys. He's the one that got the long beard.
80.
86.
85. That dude's 85. Awesome.
Elvira.
Country singer Ricky Van Shelton.
You love him.
Love Ricky
So
Van.
much.
Yep.
66.
72.
72 exactly. Dr. Crane's on
let's
top
go.
2-1. Come on, Chaser. News correspondent Christine Amanpour. Christine Amanpour. She did all the Gulf War coverage.
Yeah. 69.
73.
66. Actor Oliver Martinez. He was in the movie Unfaithful and Blood and Chocolate. Oliver Martinez.
51.
49.
58. Rapper T-Bird of B-Rock and the Biz. One of y'all's favorites.
53.
61.
57. These guys are so close. The lead singer of Rage Against the Machine, Zach De La Rocha. What are you oohing about?
48.
What a name. De La Rocha. 55.
54. Dr. Crane's up 3-1. All right. Rapper Raekwon of Wu-Tang Clan. Come on, Chase.
53.
57.
54. 3-2. I love this. These games get so tight down the stretch. One of my favorite NBA player of all time, Dominique Wilkins. How old is Dominique today?
59.
Mm.
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to go 63.
64. It's 4-2. Last birthday. Nick, you're going to win, but we're going to go out. The future owner of the Seattle Seahawks, Jeff Bezos. By the way, what do you give Jeff Bezos for his birthday that he can't buy 1,000 of?
What I do? An Amazon gift card. Just to be funny.
How old is Bezos today?
65.
I'm going to go 52.
He is 60 years old today.
Oh, wow.
All right.
There you go.
There we go. BetMGM Lounge. We'll have more opportunities for you to win a $50 gift card to the BetMGM Lounge. So looking forward to that with Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Have a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, as we head into the weekend, look, I know the weekend can be tough for a lot of people, and for our guys out there, we're the same message every day. We want to let you guys know that we love you, we're thinking about you, we care about you. If you need to talk to somebody, get on your cell phone, dial 988. Please dial 988. Talk to anybody. Please do that. As we say, you are irreplaceable. God put you on this planet for your purpose, and know that you are loved and that we love you as well.
Amen to that. We'll talk to you Monday at 9, but Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace, that's next.